Welcome to video number 200 woo, of Walker This Way with Hazel Walker, the queen of all things,
B&I and networking.
gets lost
Who
in the
knew that
day.
we would actually do 200? That was not the plan.
That was not the plan, but we did it, and we're going to keep going. All the green stars are lost on the green screen. There's actually a lot more on here. But yay, celebrating 200, which is crazy. Speaking of green, the first 5 videos, I think I was wearing a green t-shirt. You and I were down the road at the coffee place outside. Carrie was holding the camera, and everybody was walking by, and the trucks were honking. And
I
but you
remember
got to
that.
start somewhere, and we did. We just started.
Right, we just did it.
We just did it, and here we are. And our goal was to bring in not a very professional way, but in a real way, um, topical topics that affect BNI members or people who network and people in business. That was our goal, and that's what we continue to do. So everything we bring is really, it's applicable, a lot of it, to BNI members, but it's super applicable to, if you have a business, you can apply a lot of the things to your business.
Especially if you want to build a network.
Right.
Like, you're not in BNI, but you want to build a network. There's a lot of the stuff we teach that will help you build a better network.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I'm notoriously, if I can use the word, have an anal tendency about, and I just use it, so now we're using it, is I am like neurotic for being on time, if not early,
Mhm.
to a fault. Sometimes Jill and I went to a party, and a Christmas party. We were an hour early, actually, once to the time. We're
I've
like,
done
why is nobody here? That was a mistake. But we're notoriously either on time, if not early. And so one of the things that comes up is when we look at policy number 3 of BNI is BNI members must, it doesn't say may, it's a must, arrive on time and stay for the entire published meeting time, which means don't leave early either. But man, we just went through leadership team orientation. I do a lot of workshops, put through around 3,000 members so far into the BNI advanced workshops. Cannot tell you the number of times that people either show up late or just cut out 25 minutes early. They're like, I'm gone. And it's frustrating.
It is very frustrating. And it's very, it's rude. It shows a lack of respect. You don't respect the rest of the room and you don't respect who is doing the presentations. It's probably more disrespectful than it is anything. And that's a big thing with military, especially. Like 15 minutes is late.
Yeah.
15 minutes early is late,
Right. Well, that's
right?
the saying, right? Early's on time is late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early one time is late. Yeah, exactly. So, but I notice uh, we have a lot of chapters that don't even track latenesses.
Right.
Like if you look, it's just blank. They don't because they don't track it.
Yeah.
And so when you don't track it and hold people accountable to something, then they don't feel like they have to do it,
Right.
right? Because you can't change what you're not tracking because you don't have enough knowledge. So they have no idea how many of their people are coming in late because they don't have them sign in or they just don't track. And if they're doing online, that's easy to do.
Yeah.
It's easy to see who comes late and just mark it.
Right.
Sometimes it's a little bit harder when it's in person in your chapter of 60 people. You don't know who's coming in and out of the room and when they're showing up. Unless unless you have them signing in next to their name what time they signed in,
Yeah.
right? So we used to say, take the green pencil or the blue pencil away, and anyone that's late's now signing in red,
Yeah.
right? And that's how you track it. But a lot of them don't.
And there's a lot of reasons for coming early. First of all, it's important to point out that the meeting time, the first 15 minutes of the meeting is networking before the sit down portion of the meeting starts. But the sit down portion of the meeting is not the start of the meeting. Networking is the start of the meeting.
And that's where you're meeting and greeting and interviewing your visitors,
Right.
right?
And
You're interacting.
and the visitors show up early.
They
And
do show up early.
I mean, you and I have both walked into empty rooms before when nobody is there.
I've actually gone to visitor days, planned visitor days at 7 a.m., the published time, right? And it's just me and two or three visitors.
Yeah, because the visitors show up early.
It's me and the visitors. Where's the leadership team? The tables aren't set up. Where is everybody?
Yeah.
Because they wait till show up at 7 o'clock.
Right. I think another important thing to point out, what we've talked about this in a lot of the past 199 Walk This Way videos, is we talk about credibility. So
Mhm.
trust and credibility is a fine line between building it and killing it. And no matter where in business, in BNI, you're never really sure about where you are on the line or what you're doing. But showing up late to your chapter says to me, and it says to you, that if you show up late here and I give you a referral, you might potentially show up late for that referral.
I actually have proven that.
Yeah.
I've actually proven that. I've given referrals to people who are consistently late, especially when I was a member. I would give a referral to someone who was consistently late for myself to do business with me, and they were always late showing up to my appointments too.
Yeah.
So, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Right.
And so they would often just show up late. And so that gave me the clear information that I couldn't refer them. So I would then sit down and do a one-to-one with them and say, you are no longer referable. You have lost your ability to be referable because I can't trust that you will show up at my clients on time. And I can't trust that you'll actually stay for the meetings and things. You've weakened your credibility.
Yeah.
And when you leave early, you're basically opening the door for all your visitors to walk out too.
Yeah. It creates chaos in a chapter. I know from being a president, it's a chaotic time when someone leaves early and then you see other people leaving early. It's frustrating.
And all
It throws you
eyes
off.
turn to that person.
Yeah.
They all just turn to look at that person. And as a professional speaker, when I see people get up and walk out of the room, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like I just invested a lot of time and effort to come here and do this for you, and you're just walking out.
Yeah.
So what does that say to the people who are running the meeting? Now, don't get me wrong, Mark, there's sometimes valid reasons to be late
Sure.
and really valid reasons why you might need to leave early. Maybe, there's something going on that we don't know about. And that's going to happen occasionally. It's the habituals that you're looking for.
Right.
And that policy is there to create the strength of the professionalism of the chapter.
Yeah. I was told, I remember in high school, one of the teachers said, if you show up late the first time because the bus was late or your alarm clock didn't go off, that's okay. The second time, I'm going to question it. The third time, it's no longer the bus's fault or the alarm clock's fault. It's now on you. Take an earlier bus, set 2 alarms, and do what it is you need to do.
Right. Because if things are a priority to you, like they're important and it's a priority, you make it happen.
Right. So here's good perspective. And we talk about this when we do a lot of the workshops, is the question I ask is, who's your biggest client? We ask that to the BNI, who's your biggest client? Yeah. And sometimes they'll give me a name of a company or somebody, which I love. Yes, so that's a yes. And the actual biggest client you have is your fellow BNI member sitting in your chapter right now. And you would never show up late or leave or walk out on one of those clients that you have. You shouldn't be doing it to your chapter members.
Yeah. So it's important that leadership team sets that standard and actually holds people accountable to it. Yeah. It's not something that you and I can do.
Not at all. It's chapter culture.
Policies are geared for the chapter to use to keep their organization strong.
Right.
And if they choose not to enforce them, that's just not something you and I can do other than just teach them why it's important they do it.
Yeah, these are best practices. We always say with best practices, do them, try them. We recommend trying them for a period of time. Don't not try them. Try them because they're there for a reason.
Yeah, and if you should ever have a problem, and let's say I was standing in front of a judge, the first thing a judge is going to say, have these policies been applied evenly across the entire group?
Yeah.
Right? Have they been applied evenly? Or is it sporadic? And it's the sporadic exceptions that'll get you in trouble. Let the policies protect you.
Right. So again, these policies are designed to create successful members and successful chapters so that members make what? Oh, more money.
More money.
That's why we're here.
Yep.
All right. Policy number 3 is in the books. Till next time, Hazel Walker.
See you then.
Bye.